Hello, my name is Hannah Stesney, and this is my presentation too. Today I will be discussing a study that investigated the pros and cons of dating online for adults with autism spectrum disorder. The article being discussed was titled Convenience with the Click of a Mouse, a survey of adults with autism spectrum disorder on online dating. Topics within this article relate to social development and media, correlating with chapters 11, 14, and 15. First, we will discuss some important background information. Due to social developmental barriers, it can be difficult for individuals with autism spectrum disorder to pursue and maintain various social relationships. Thus, according to Roth and Gillis, the number of friendships were predictive of feelings of loneliness, which was found to be associated with increased depression and anxiety and decreased life satisfaction and self-esteem for adults with autism spectrum disorder. Overall, fewer social relations can decrease the quality of life for adults with autism spectrum disorder. Therefore, this limitation is a true barrier for this population. Regarding romantic relationships, individuals with autism spectrum disorder commonly face difficulties with traditional face-to-face methods of pursuing romantic or intimate relationships. According to Roth and Gillis, numerous studies indicate that members of this population have the motivation to form such relationships, suggesting that the inability to form and maintain romantic relationships stems more so from social impairments as opposed to a lack of desire. Therefore, the lack of romantic relationships for this population is not a mere choice, but rather due to an inability to do so. Compared to traditional face-to-face courtship, online dating proposes many benefits for individuals with autism spectrum disorder. For example, daily struggles such as social demands and nonverbal communication interpretation are limited via online communication. Additionally, online dating allows for these individuals to have more time to process information, more control over self-preservation, and slower pace of communication. Therefore, many individuals with autism spectrum disorder may choose to use online dating as a favorable platform to pursue romantic relationships instead of face-to-face communication. Now we will discuss the goal of this study. Little is currently known about the positive or negative impacts of online dating on individuals with autism spectrum disorder. Therefore, the goal of this study was to better understand how this mode of communication impacts this specific population. Studies such as this one are important because they can help ensure the safety of individuals with autism spectrum disorder as they navigate pursuing intimate relationships online. Additionally, the findings from this study can be used to create platforms more efficient, favorable, and easier for this population to facilitate such relationships. This overall research is also important because, as mentioned previously, a lack of social relationships is correlated with higher depression and anxiety rates, as well as a lessened quality of life for these individuals. All participants in this study were recruited via websites, newsletters, and organizations focused on serving individuals and families with autism spectrum disorder. To participate in this study, it was required that the subjects were at least 19 years old and had an acceptable diagnosis of autism spectrum disorder. The study consisted of 17 subjects in total, 6 males and 11 females. The mean age for the population was 29.5 years old. Of the population, 10 subjects self-reported that they were heterosexual, 2 indicated that they were gay or lesbian, 3 subjects indicated they were bisexual, 1 indicated they were asexual, and 1 indicated they were pansexual. For this study, the researchers Roth and Gillis developed their own survey, which they named the Online Dating Survey. This survey utilizes self-report and contains 48 questions, both multiple choice and open-ended. The survey was utilized to measure necessary demographic information of the subjects, such as age, sexual identity, and gender. Additionally, the survey measured whether the participants had used online dating in the past, if they had any negative emotions towards online dating for those who did use the platform before, and if online dating had ever led to a date for the subjects. Next, the survey measured the participants' self-reported levels of safety while engaging in online dating, and the participants' willingness to continue using online dating in the future. Now we are going to discuss the results of this study. Attached are images of the types of questions asked. On the left are the questions implemented in order to get an understanding of the participants' online dating history, and on the right, the questions were gauged at gauging the participants' views on controversial topics associated with online dating, such as catfishing or moving to face-to-face meetings. This is the summary of quantitative responses. On the left quadrant, you can see the various questions asked, and then on the right, you can see how the participants responded, how many responded in which way, and the percentages. The researchers then used this data to form conclusions about the impacts of online dating on individuals with autism spectrum disorder. Most commonly, the participants reported enjoying making their profiles and writing about themselves, as well as communicating without any social stressors. The participants also enjoyed having their important information available at the beginning of the dating process, gathering information about others from their profile, and having contact with a large amount of people. However, it is very important to note that this study also indicated many cons of online dating. For example, 81% of the population self-reported safety concerns about online dating. That's 13 out of 16 subjects. Additionally, 5 out of 8 participants who indicated having reservations toward online dating noted safety concerns as their main reservations for not using online dating. The participants most commonly reported fearing others misrepresenting themselves or catfishing, alongside being victimized, meeting bad people, and having their personal information online. The subjects were faced with anxiety when speaking to someone they didn't know, even when online. Interestingly, subjects note difficulty transitioning from online communication to face-to-face communication. Therefore, these relationships remained online for the most part. Additional cons included having too many choices of potential dates and being overwhelmed, anxiety over building their dating profile, anxiety over not being genuine to who they really are while online, and dealing with the rejection of not being replied to. The conclusion of this study states that in order for online dating to be a safe space for individuals with autism to pursue romantic relationships, more of an emphasis needs to be placed on safety. It is important to note the negative aspects highlighted in this paper, as online dating is still not an anxiety-free courtship for these individuals. Also, it is important to note that most relationships formed by individuals with autism spectrum disorder online never make it to face-to-face communication. The researchers conclude that while online dating has the capacity to benefit individuals with autism spectrum disorder, this medium is not without concerns. Most notably, the researchers highlight the needs to improve upon safety concerns on these websites and the education on how to avoid these negative outcomes.